Hi, my name's Ashiya, and this is a beginner intermediate mat Pilates session. No equipment. It'll be taught in levels, so you can choose to add on progressions if you wish, or you can stick just with the baseline of the exercises where applicable. If you're completely new to Pilates, I do recommend checking out my beginner video on my channel because that really breaks down a lot of the fundamental form, the breathing, some of the kind of setup things that might seem a bit confusing if you just jump into other classes. But otherwise, yeah, full body. Let's just get stuck into it. So we'll just begin with a roll down. So coming to the top of the mat, facing ahead of you, and just take a moment to settle into your alignment here. Standing nice and tall, reaching the crown of the head to the ceiling. Arms are straight by the sides of the body, palms just lightly holding the hips. And then just check the position of your feet. You want your feet to be directly underneath your hips. And when I say hips, I mean hip bones. Parallel, toes pointing directly forward. Take an inhale. And then exhale. Start to nod the chin. And start to peel down. We're going to roll down from the top of the spine, rolling through the upper back. Then the mid-back, allowing the knees to bend softly, reaching the fingertips down to the floor, arms hanging heavy from the shoulders, rolling through the lower back, and then holding here, dropping the crown of the head down, pulling the center of the back up to the ceiling, drawing the abdominals up. Take an inhale, and then exhale. Start to really use the lower abdominals to start to roll up from the lower back first. Then the mid-back, straightening the legs as you come up to the upper back and then reaching the crown of the head up to the ceiling. One more like this. Inhale and exhale. Take this as a moment to check in with how your body's feeling. Really enjoy the back stretch that we get here. So the roll down is more about that back stretch, that spinal articulation, than it is a hamstring stretch. So again, finding that soft bend at the knees. Inhale at the bottom and then exhale, rolling back up, using the abdominals to control that movement as we come all the way up to vertical. One more to come down to the mat this time. Inhale and exhale, peeling it down, really thinking about moving one vertebra at a time. Dropping the crown of the head down to the floor. And then as you come to the bottom this time, just gently guide your hands behind you to bring yourself down to seated. And then from here, we're just going to transition down to our backs. So just sitting nice and tall, bring your arms out in front, palms are facing one another, hands in line with the shoulders. Take an inhale, and then exhale. Use your lower abdominals to start to round the bottom of the spine, tipping the tailbone up as you start to roll down to the mat. One vertebra at a time, bringing the arms down by the sides of the body, bringing the head down, shoulders down. And then from here, you'll just need to bring the feet a little bit closer. Take a moment to adjust everything. You want the feet and knees hip width again, still like just as we had the roll down at the start. And then just press the arms heavy into the mat. The palms are down, the shoulders are active, the triceps are active. In this position, we want to think about a neutral spine, neutral pelvis, so you're not doing anything in particular. You're not trying to pull the middle of the back down. We're not trying to arch the back. Just nice and relaxed. Think about it as though the hip bones and the pubic bone are on that horizontal plane, so everything is just as neutral as can be for your body. So take an inhale here. We're going to go into the pelvic curl in a moment. Inhaling through the nose. And then exhale. Now we're going to pull the middle of the back down to the mat. We're going to do this by using the lower abdominals to tilt the pelvis so that the pubic bone is lifting, tailbone is tucked. And now, once we've activated those abdominals, we're going to start using the feet, the hamstrings, the glutes, and we're going to start to peel the spine away from the mat, one vertebra at a time, rolling up into our shoulder bridge position. Keep pressing into the arms, keep pressing into the hands, and then hold it at the top. Before we do anything else, just soften the ribs, maybe drop everything just a little bit lower, And then really use the glutes and the hamstrings to lift the pelvis, just the pelvis, higher. Hold it here, take an inhale, and then exhale. Keep the tailbone as tucked as you can as you start to roll the upper back towards the mat, then bringing the mid back down, then the lower back, and then at the very last moment, release the tailbone back to that neutral pelvis. Inhale. So lower abdominals activate first, tucking that tailbone, drawing the middle of the back down to the mat, and then stand into your feet. Use your big toes, your heels, use the glutes, the hamstrings, inner thighs, roll it up. Again, so we're not trying to go for maximum height here, we're trying to go for maximum lift through the pelvis. So it'd be really easy to kind of like arch the back. We don't want to do that. Inhale. Exhale, melt your spine back down to the mat, one vertebra at a time, and release at the bottom. 2 more. Inhale, exhale. I should say 2 more before we add on to it. So really enjoy this movement. I consider the pelvic curl to be such an amazing grounding movement. You kind of really coming into contact with the surface below, being hyper aware of the arms, the shoulders, the feet, all of the moments where you're kind of really touching base with the ground beneath you. Inhale at the top to hold, and then exhale. Think pubic bone to nose as you roll the spine back down, melting the spine back down into the mat, and release at the bottom. 1 more and then we add on. Inhale, exhale. Tuck the tailbone, and now glutes, hamstrings, inner thighs, and hold it at the top with this one. This is where we add on now. So in this position, just again check that the ribs are softened, see if you've got any more lift in just the pelvis, check that the knees haven't opened wider. If they have, just bring them back in line with your hip bones. You'll feel the inner thighs really switch on. And then here, this will make it feel extra delicious. You're going to inhale to bring the arms up overhead. Keep everything stable. Reach the fingertips long behind you. The arms are now by the sides of the ears. And then exhale. Keep the arms where they are as you start to peel the spine back down. It should feel like an extra lovely back stretch. And then inhale at the bottom as you bring the arms back down to the sides. So we're just hinging through the shoulder joint here, just a bit of shoulder mobilization as well. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, and then begin to peel up. Checking, feel nice and stable. Inhale as you bring the arms overhead. And then exhale, peel it back down. 1 vertebra at a time, and release at the bottom. 2 more like this. Inhale, bring the arms back down to the sides of the body. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, and roll it up. And as you're rolling up to that lifted position, another thing to think about as a sort of internal cue is thinking about reaching the knees long, far away from you, really maximizing this sense of length through the top of the body. Inhale, bring the arms overhead, keep everything stable, and then exhale, melt the spine back down. 1 vertebra at a time, and release. Last one. Inhale, arms down by the sides of the body. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, press into the arms as you lift up. Inhale, arms reach long behind you. And then just before we do anything else, because this is the last one, just check again that the knees haven't opened, bring them back in line. Drop the ribs a little, give a little bit more height into that pelvis by using the glutes, especially hamstrings. And now exhale. Peel it back down. 1 vertebra at a time. And release at the bottom, arms overhead, back to the sides of the body. And take a moment. Open the arms to a T position. Palms facing the ceiling, hands are in line with the shoulders. We're going to go into spine twist supine. So draw your abdominals down to the mat here, lift the right leg to tabletop, knee over hip, foot in line with the knee, and then the left leg's going to come up and join it. Glue them together. I want you to imagine that you've got a ball squeeze in between your knees in this exercise. So as we go through the movement, you're not going to let that ball shift about. The knees are going to keep squeezing together. We're going to inhale, keep the legs moving as one unit. We're going to rotate the legs over to the right, not letting the length of the waist on either side shorten or lengthen. The left side of the pelvis is going to lift to allow this. So it's a rotation through the bottom of the spine. And then exhale, use the obliques on the left of your waist to bring everything back. And inhale over to the left. And as we rotate one way, the opposite shoulder is staying down. Exhale, draw it back. So this isn't a stretch. A lot of people think that this exercise is going to be a stretch, and it's not a stretch. It's actually really quite hard abdominal work. Inhale over to the left. Right side of the pelvis lifts. The right ribs are drawing down to the mat as we go into this rotation. We don't want to arch the back here. And then exhale. Pull everything back to the center. One more each way. Inhale over to the right. And exhale. Back. Slow and controlled. It's generally better with most Pilates exercises. Not all, but the majority. Exhale back to the center. Left foot down, right foot down. Feet and knees are back to hip width. And then circle the arms around behind the head, interlace the fingers deeply to the bottom of the fingers. And then create a little basket of support for the back of the head. Thumbs are touching the fingers, so we're not kind of separating the thumbs underneath the skull. Everything's connected. Elbows are wide, but they're in the peripheral vision. So you want to have them lifted away from the mat. They're just in the corners of your eyes when you're looking straight ahead up at the ceiling. Take an inhale here. And before we do anything, I want you to think about the position of your head and neck in relation to the rest of the spine. So it's tempting with chest lifts to think, let's pull the head up, let's pull the chin into the chest. I don't want you to do that. I want you to leave the neck position as it is and think about this movement coming from the upper part of the torso. So we're using the abdominals to lift the top of the thoracic spine essentially, and the back is going to do some work as well. The head is just going to stay rested back into the hands. Sorry, that was a lot of chat. Inhale. So now, exhale, keep the head rested back. We're going to lift up, using the abdominals to control it, lifting behind the shoulder blades, tailbones heavy on the mat. The elbows haven't wrapped in. Inhale to hold, and then exhale, peel it back down. Nice and controlled and slow again. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to hold at the top, keep those elbows locked in position, and then exhale. Rolling back down. So it's not a quick movement, we're not collapsing on the way down. It's important, both sides of this movement, the lift and the lower. Inhale, exhale to lift. And as you come to the top, you should be looking just to the middle of the thighs. And then exhale, lower it back down. 2 more, inhale, and exhale, lift. Inhale, hold. Drop the tailbone down if it's lifted. Check that the elbows haven't wrapped in. And then exhale, lower it back down. We're going to go into rotation with the next one, so prepare yourselves. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, hold it here. So think about this height that you've got behind the shoulder blades. I want you to keep that. In fact, let's remove the hands, bring them behind the thighs. Use your elbows, use your arms to lift yourself up a little bit higher. So now you should feel quite actively lifted. If you see here, my shoulder blades are lifted away. Hold that lift, bring the hands back behind the head. Same position with the elbows. Keep the lift, really working with the abdominals now. We're going to exhale, rotate just over to the right. The breastbone is pointing towards just past the right knee, and you're gazing in the same direction. And as you're here, you're going to try and lift up a little bit more towards it. Inhale back to the center. We don't lower down. Exhale to the left. Again, think reach towards it. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the right. And inhale to the center. Exhale to the left. And inhale to the center. And it's a small rotation. We're not trying to get the elbow down to the mat. We're not twisting side to side. The smaller it is and the more controlled it is, the harder. Inhale to the center, one more each way. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the center and exhale all the way down. As you can probably tell from my voice, it's not easy. It never gets easy. I'm sure you'll be glad to know. Bring the left leg out straight on the mat. Arms are back down by the sides of the body. And just for a moment, just take a breath. Chest lifts and with rotation are hard. And then we're going to go into leg circles from here. So still abdominal, just slightly different engagement. We're going to bring the right leg to tabletop and then straighten it up to the ceiling. We want ideally to have the foot over the hip. If that's not happening for you with just hamstring flexibility, bend the knee, but bring the knee closer towards you so the foot is still over the hip. Either way. So from here, we're now going to flex that right foot. Think about pressing the arms and hands down here. And through this exercise, I want you to think about pelvic stability. So we're only going to make these circles as big as you can control the torso and the pelvis. So let's begin. We're going to inhale, circle the leg across the body, around and back up, can't speak, and exhale, around and back up, and inhale, and exhale, and there's a drop and catch rhythm to this, and exhale, drop and catch, and inhale, and exhale, one more this way, inhale, and hold, and we go to the right, inhale away from the body, around and back up, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale. And if you do find that you are rocking about, just make your circle smaller. And inhale, and hold at the top, point the right toe, bend the knee to tabletop, straighten it back out. And then the left leg, same thing, left leg to tabletop first, straighten it. You might feel different, one side might feel tighter or less tight than the other. Flex the foot. And so we think when we flex the foot, we're thinking pushing the heel up to the ceiling. Inhale, across the body, around and back up. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And we're keeping the knees pointing towards the face. We're not going into external rotation. And exhale. And inhale, hold. Reverse it. Inhale away from the body, around and back up. And exhale. And inhale, and exhale. And this is an abdominal exercise, but it's different to chest lift. So the abdominals here are working to stabilize us. And exhale, last one, and inhale, hold. Point the left toe, bring the left leg back to tabletop, straighten the leg out on the mat. And now both legs are long. You might want to just shove down slightly if you've not got much room behind you, because we're going to go into the roll up from here. So legs are glued together, toes are pointed. Arms are going to reach overhead, palms facing one another, so they're turned inwards. And then from here, you want to avoid the ribs popping in this position. So if your arms are down on the mat and you find that you're popping the ribs, hover them, draw the abdominals down. And then we're going to try and think lower abdominals to move through this exercise. So with the roll up, if you've not done a class before, if you get to a point in a moment where you get stuck, you can bring the feet to the mat and then do it from there. But have a go at the full version and see how it looks. So we're going to inhale, lift the arms up and over, the head, the neck, the chest, lift with us. So now we're in this deep chest lift position. We've got a C curve in the back. Arms are straight by the sides of the body, hands are in line with the shoulders, legs are still squeezing together. And now keep this shape in the spine. As you exhale, use the lower abdominals to round up. Try to avoid using momentum. Holding at the top. And as you hear, just a couple of things. I'll keep adding details with this one, there's quite a lot. So this is what we call our C curve. Shoulders over the pelvis. Abdominals are pulling back and the centre of the back is trying to pull back. It's like a capital C, so we're not here. Really active in this position. Think elongation. Inhale and then exhale. Lower abdominals are going to start to tilt the pelvis up so that we can bring the lower back down to the mat first. Arms travel parallel to the mat, then the mid back. We hold in this chest lift for a moment and then arms up and over. And again, inhale, arms, head, neck, chest. Exhale, keep that shape as you roll it up. And as you come to the top, just looking down to the knees. Inhale to hold. And then exhale, roll it back down. One vertebra at a time. Holding as the mid-back comes down and up and over. And inhale, arms, head, neck, chest. Exhale, if you get stuck at that point, you can use your hands, you can grab onto your thighs. That's completely acceptable if you're just starting out. Inhale to hold. And exhale, roll it back down. To be honest, this is an exercise that also really depends on body proportions as well. Arms up and over. One more. Inhale, arms, head, neck, chest. Exhale, round it up. Inhale to hold. And then exhale. Peel it back down. Hold in the chest lift. And arms up and over. Allied, we've got 1.5. We're going to come up to seated with one more. Half roll up. Inhale, arms, head, neck, chest. Exhale, round it up. Inhale to hold. And then exhale to lift up tall. Open the legs to mat, well, the heels to mat width. Flex the feet. If you need to just adjust yourself like I am, please do. And then the arms are going to stay out in the same position, so the hands are in line with the shoulders, the palms are facing in. The heels are actively pressing in front of us now, so we've got dorsiflexion in the ankles. So when we talk about flexing and pointing, it's more about that ankle joint and the toes. So try to relax the toes if you can. So here, we're going to go into spine stretch. We want the shoulders over the pelvis. We ideally want a flat back. Obviously, that's not always possible for everyone. If that's difficult in this position, you can have a soft bend at the knees, which will enable you to be more vertical. You can also sit on a yoga block, give you a bit more height. So, inhale here. Exhale, nod the chin, and begin to roll forward and down, one vertebra at a time. We're trying to reach the fingers past the toes. Inhale to hold at the bottom, and then exhale, roll up through the lower back, the mid back, upper back, and then the head comes up at the top. And again, inhale, exhale, nod the chin, thinking about articulating through the spine. It's helpful to almost imagine sitting against a wall and imagine peeling your spine away from it, one bone at a time. That's actually a really good thing to practice as well if you're not quite getting this exercise. Inhale, exhale. As in you can actually just sit against a wall and do it from there. It'll give you the feedback. Inhale at the bottom to hold. As you come to the bottom, you can also sort of tip the pelvis and just allow yourself to reach a little bit further. And then exhale, tip the pelvis back to that neutral position and then roll everything up. One more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale at the bottom and then exhale, peel it back up. One vertebra at a time, up to the top. And then bring the right foot in, bring the left foot in. Hands around the ankles, or if that's not possible for you, the shins. And then bring the feet close to you. We're going to roll in like a ball. So elbows are wide, legs are glued together. feet are down for a moment, and just try to find this C-curve shape through the spine. So you're looking down to your knees, pulling the abdominals back, then point the toes, and allow yourself to sit just behind the sit bones so that you can hover the feet and balance in this position. So shoulders away from the ears, elbows wide. We're going to really use the arms in this position. You're going to inhale, use the lower abdominals, round to the lower back, exhale up to balance. Inhale back, exhale roll up. And as you come up, you're using your abdominals, you're also using your arms and legs, pushing the hands and legs into one another. Inhale back, exhale up. And a couple more things. So when you roll back, keep the chin tucked. Don't let the head fling back. Not only could it hurt you, but also it's going to make it a lot harder to get up. And if this isn't working for you today, don't worry. It's one of those where it's kind of easy to cheat with momentum. I'm going a bit wonky. If you're going wonky, that means that you're using one side of the body more than the other. Inhale back, exhale up. It's easy to cheat with momentum, but what we really want to do is try and find that control. So it's really maximizing that rounding through the back. One more, inhale back and exhale up. And then hold it here. Definitely wonky today. Okay, and then if, unlike me, you've not put your feet down, very well done. I've just put my feet down and cheated. So you're in this shape. I want you to now bring the hands behind the knees and lift the shins. We're going to go into teaser prep from here. So now I want you to do kind of the opposite with your back. I want you to try and straighten the back, thinking reaching the breastbone up in front of you, shoulders away from the ears. So we're almost trying to create this V shape through the body. Elbows are wide. We're trying not to actively use the hands here because in a moment we are going to let go. So we're now going to let go. We're going to bring the arms to the sides of the shins, keep the legs where they are. We're going to exhale to start tipping the pelvis and rolling down just to the lower back or wherever you can control it. Keep the arms parallel to the mat. Inhale, lift up at the top. And exhale, rounding down. And inhale, lift, reaching the breastbone up at the top. And exhale, lower. And inhale to lift. And exhale, lower. And as you're doing this, if you find that your legs are moving about a lot, just do a tiny rocking motion through the pelvis, like this. And then just challenge yourself to go a little bit further with each one. We're going to do 2 more. Exhale, down. And inhale, lift. And last one. Exhale, down. And inhale, lift at the top. Hold it, and then place the right foot down. Place the left foot down. Soles of the feet together and just fold forward for a moment. And just butterfly at the knees. Just have a bit of a stretch through the hip flexors. Teaser prep. There's a lot of work on the hip flexors. Have a moment here. And then when you're ready, place your feet back in that parallel position. Sit on your sit bones, bring the arms out in front, and we're just going to transition down to our backs again. So nice and vertical through the spine. Inhale, exhale, roll down. 1 vertebra at a time, bringing the arms to the sides of the body. And then just bring the feet closer to you again. We're going to do some more abdominal work. I was just kind of breaking it all up. So hands and arms are pressing down. And then from here, we're going to keep the left foot down initially. Lift the right leg to tabletop. Foot in line with the knee, knees over the hip. Right toes pointed. And then point the left toe on the mat. So the left heel will now be lifted. We're going to go into leg changes. So keep the arms down, keep the torso stable, keep the pelvis stable, and think about keeping the angles in the knees as we go, the same as we go through this exercise. So we don't want you to bend more at the knees to make it happen. I'll explain in a moment. So we're going to exhale, to start switching the legs, and inhale to tap the right toe down. As we do this, the thigh is moving away from the body, so we're working through the hip joint. So exhale, inhale, left toe. Exhale, inhale, right toe. And we go a bit faster. We go left and right. And left not super fast. And right. So I want you to almost imagine that the legs are pushing through treacle here. And left and right. And left and right. We're going to do 4 and 4, 3 and 3, keeping everything stable. 2 and 2, 1 and 1. And then place the right foot down, place the left foot down for a moment. Just have a bit of a stretch through the hips if you need to. Going from teaser prep into tabletop is again quite a lot of work on the hip flexors. I say this because we're now going to go into 100 prep and 100, which is more tabletop. So now, arms down by the sides of the body, lift the right leg to tabletop, left leg to tabletop, glue the legs together. And then from here, arms are going to reach overhead, palms to the ceiling. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, arms are going to lift, head, neck, chest, come with it. Hands are now by the sides of the hips, fingertips reaching far in front of you, hands in line with the shoulders. And then from here, inhale, keep the torso lifted, just the arms come up to a high diagonal. We're thinking 90-degree angle in the shoulder joint, and then everything comes back down. Exhale to lift. Inhale, keep that lift in the chest, arms up and back down. And exhale, lift. And if this is too much for you, keeping your legs in tabletop now, just place the feet down like so. So glue the legs together, exhale, lift. Inhale, arms up and back down. Exactly the same movement. It's just a little bit less pressure. Inhale, arms up and back down. We're going to do 3 more. So either feet down or feet up. Exhale, lift. Inhale, just the arms and back down. And 2. Arms up and back down. And last one. Arms lift and back down. And then just bring the knees into the chest for a moment, hands on top of the knees, and just rock side to side. I'm being kind. We are going into the 100, but I thought I'd just, because this is a beginner and intermediate session, I thought it'd be nice to have a little break in between. So when you're ready, let's say feet down, again, just to get into it properly. So with the 100, you can choose, it's basically, we build on what we just did. If you had the feet down for 100 prep, I recommend keeping the feet down for the 100 as well. If you had the legs in tabletop, keep them in tabletop. And then there's another option from there. So if you're going to keep the feet down, ignore the instructions to lift the legs. If you're going to lift the legs to tabletop, let's do it now, one at a time. Right leg, and then left leg, and then glue them together. Now the arms come up and over, whether your feet down or feet are lifted. Palms are facing the ceiling. We get into this the same way as the 100 prep. So inhale, prepare, exhale, lift. We're going to do the first half with the legs in tabletop if you wish. If anyone's got more experience and they just want to go straight into diagonal, that's fine. Please go for it now. Otherwise, we're going to go into that at half time. So keep this lift in the chest. We're now going to start pumping the arms up and down from the shoulder joint. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. So it's 5 pumps. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. And then hold it there. You can now choose to stay in tabletop or straighten the legs to a diagonal. And then we do 5 more sets. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2 more sets. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, hold it there. Bring the legs back to tabletop if you straightened them. Arms up to that high diagonal for everyone. And then the head, neck, chest, arms come back down, left foot down, right foot down, and then knees into the chest. Again, have a quick rock side to side, and then turn yourself onto your side. And we're going to go into side lifts from here. So we're going to lie long. The bottom arm is extended long underneath us, the palm to the ceiling, and you want to be in a straight line from hand to toe here. So check that the legs aren't behind you. It's going to make it a lot harder. The legs can either be straight or in line, or if you need a little bit more support as you go into this, you can bring them slightly forward at a diagonal. Try it straight first and see how you feel. Top hand is planted down to the mat for support, top hip stacked on top of the bottom hip, so not reaching forward or back, not shifting away or towards us. And you want this sense that the spine is in neutral position, so we're not pressing the bottom of the waist down into the mat here. So toes are pointed, legs are glued together. From here, inhale, lift just the legs to a tiny hover. And then we're going to exhale, lift them up higher, using the top of the waist to do the lifting. Inhale down to hover. Exhale to lift. And inhale down. And exhale, lift. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. And inhale down. And exhale, lift. And we're just slicing up and down. We're not going backwards or forwards. Inhale down. Exhale, lift. 2 more. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Last one, inhale down, exhale, lift, hold it, and then lower the legs down with control. And then from here, press yourself up to your forearm. So you've got options here. You can stay on your forearm. If you're on the forearm, the elbow is going to be directly underneath the shoulder. Hand is pressing down. And then I want you to just really actively press into that bottom shoulder. See how my waist is lifting away here. Imagine you've got something spiking into your armpit and you're trying to get away from it. So that's your first option. It's really tempting here to do that. Don't do that. Stay stable in the shoulder. The second option, the harder option, is to come onto the elbow. You'll need to move the elbow a tiny bit further away and a tiny bit forward. Always takes a bit of time to find the right position. And then the fingertips at the bottom hand are going to just lightly touch behind the ear. So we're not actually resting on that hand. It's just a tiny bit of support. And then for everyone, the top hand lifts. The fingertips are just behind that top ear. And then we're thinking here, straight line from head through the pelvis. Side kick. Top leg lifts to hip height. We flex the foot, so pushing through the heel. Exhale, kick forward, double pulse. Point the toe, inhale back. Flexing forward. Inhale back. Flexing forward. Inhale back. And we're trying to keep the pelvis and torso as stable as possible. There will be a tiny bit of movement through the torso, but we don't want to be swinging backwards and forwards, and we definitely don't want to be sinking into that bottom shoulder. Exhale forward, inhale back, flexing forward, pointing back, and then bring that top leg in line with the bottom one, lower it down with control, and then turn onto your back again for a moment. So this is one of the exercises that is more intermediate, and if you've not done Pilates before, this is the rollover. I recommend just have it kind of keep going with the foundations until you feel ready. If you want to have a go at it, watch the first rep, because it's an inversion, and when you're upside down, it's really dangerous to look side to side. So when you're doing it, I want you to just focus on staring straight up to the ceiling. So if you haven't done it before, watch my first rep. If you have, do it with me. If you don't feel ready to do it, do some more rolling like a balls or roll-ups from earlier in the session. It's entirely up to you. So arms are straight down by the sides of the body, palms are down. We lift one leg at a time up to tabletop. Glue them together. Then from here, we're going to exhale to straighten the legs away to a 60-degree angle. Toes are pointed, they're glued together. Inhale, lift the legs up to 90, so the toes are pointing to the ceiling directly over the hips. And then exhale, use your lower abdominals, press into the arms to lift the legs up and over. We want to bring the legs to a parallel position to the mat, really working through the back here, trying to lift the sit bones to the ceiling. And then inhale, flex the feet, open them to hip width, touch the toes down only if you can keep that lift in the back. And then exhale, roll the spine back down to the mat, one vertebra at a time. Point the toes to the ceiling and close the legs away to 60. We're going to do 3 more. Inhale up to 90. Exhale, press up and over. Really strong through the shoulders, the back of the arms. Inhale, flex the feet, open them to hip width, lower the toes, and then exhale to lower back down, one vertebra at a time. Pointing the toes to the ceiling and close away. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, flex the feet, open them to hip width, touch the toes down. Exhale, lower it back down with control. Point the toes to the ceiling and close away. Last one. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, flex the feet, open them to hip width, touch the toes down. And then exhale, lower back down. Point the toes away. Close the legs, back to tabletop. 1 foot down, other foot down. Just briefly bring the knees into the chest. Just have a quick rock side to side. And then if you're doing this at home, you can just turn to face onto your left-hand side. I'm just going to swivel around so that I'm facing the front for both ways, but we're going to do the side work on side 2. So we're in this straight line. Again, bottom arm is extended long, toes are pointed, legs are glued together, top hand planted down for support. And then from here, again, just check that everything's stable, check the top hip is on top of the bottom hip, and then we hover the legs an inch. Keep the knees pointing forwards. Exhale, lift higher using the obliques. Inhale down to hover. And exhale to lift. And as we're lifting the legs up, the top of the waist is doing the lifting. The bottom of the waist is pressing down. Exhale, lift. And inhale down. And exhale, lift. And inhale down. 3 more. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. And 2. And down. And 1. Actually, let's add 1 more because I think there was 1 more on the other side. Inhale down, last one. Exhale, lift. Inhale down, classic Pilates teacher who can't count. And then coming up to the forearm. Legs are still in that straight line. And then again, you still have that choice of either being on the forearm here or to progress it, being balanced on that bottom elbow. Whichever version, just keep pressing into that bottom shoulder, lifting the waist away from the mat. We're going to inhale. Yeah, let's inhale just to prepare. Lift the leg to hip height, flex the foot, and then we exhale, kick forward. Inhale back. Flexing forward. Inhale back. Flexing forward. Inhale back. So with this one, only make the kick as big as you can control it through the torso. So if you find that doing a big kick is just making you go super wobbly, just make it smaller. Flexing forward, inhale back. I'd rather see really, really well controlled movement that was smaller in range than movement that's big in range but all over the shop any day. Flexing forward, inhale back. Flexing forward, inhale back. And then bring that top leg in line with the bottom one, lower it down. And then turn yourself onto your back. Or not onto your back, you're going to turn to sit. That didn't make sense, did it? Anyway, right, fingers, hands are planted in behind your shoulders. Legs are going to separate to hip width. Fingertips pointing towards the toes. There's a soft bend in the elbows here to begin. And then we're going to press into the arms, straight arms, lifting the breastbone up. The head stays in line with the spine here. This is back support. So you'll feel like you're artificially lifted here. Toes are pointed, heels are pressing down into the mat. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, keeping straight arms. You're going to lift, press into the arms. You use the glutes, lift the pelvis. We want a straight line from the top of the head to the feet. So you're allowing yourself to look up to the ceiling. Inhale, keep the arms straight. Just hinge the hips down. The neck just moves in line with the spine. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. 2 more. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Last one. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Hold it. And then inhale to lower the hips. Keep the arms straight. And then release at the elbows. Shake it out through the wrists. Few circles one way. Few circles the other way. And then we're going to stay seated. We're going to build and roll it like a ball. We did this in the beginner progressions video. We're going to do modified open leg rocker with the option to do the full version if you want to. So check you've got space behind you. Feet are down. Bring the hands to the sides of the ankles. We're going to keep straight arms in this position. And then lift the right leg so that the shin is parallel to the mat. Arm is straight. Really active through the shoulder and the back through this exercise. And you want to have a good grip onto the side of the ankle. And then from here, left leg lifts. Legs and feet, so the feet and knees are just wider than your hips now. So we want about a foot in between. Gazing straight ahead, thinking lift through the breastbone again here, like at the top of teaser prep. We inhale to round the back, tip the pelvis, roll to the shoulder blades. Exhale, lift, and bring the breastbone up at the top. So we inhale, rounding this, exhale up. I forgot my breathing then. Inhale back, and exhale up and lift. I'm going to do 2 more with the bent legs, and then you've got the option to try it with the straight legs if you like. Inhale back, exhale up. Hold it at the top for a moment just to kind of explain what's going on. When you're in that, you really want to think, keep those arms straight. The arms are working, the back is working, everything is connected. Now let's have a go. If you want to try straightening the legs, please do. It's fun. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. Straight arms is extra important now. Going to inhale, tuck the tailbone. Exhale, lift. And don't bend the knees like I just did. Inhale back. And exhale, lift. Lifting the breastbone at the top. Inhale back. And exhale, lift. It helps when you're coming up to sort of slightly soften the grip on the ankles, and it gives you a little bit of room as you come to the top to grab and use the arms. 3 more. Inhale back. Exhale, lift. And 2. Inhale back. Exhale, lift. Last one. Inhale back. Exhale, lift. And if it didn't work for you today, don't worry. It's a tricky exercise. Right foot down, left foot down, soles of the feet together, fold forward, and just also shake it out through the wrists. A few circles each way. And then when you're ready, just cross the legs, shift back a little bit so that you can bring your hands in front of where the knees are, and transition into a 4-point kneeling. So we're going to do the push-up, which doesn't have to be as intimidating as it sounds. To begin, we're going to come into this 4-point kneeling position, and you've got the choice to stay here, so you don't have to do the full push-up. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips, and I want here to really think like shoulder stability. So really notice the difference when I sink down here versus when I press up. I'm really actively pressing up. You want the head in line with the spine, abdominals are drawing up. So if you choose to stay in tabletop, just stay here and ignore the next steps. So you can do the push-up from this position. If you want to try the full thing, you're going to step the right leg back to a plank, tuck the toes, don't let the pelvis lift or drop as you bring the left leg back. So whether you're in tabletop or you're here, now what we do, keep everything stable. You're going to inhale to bend the elbows, keeping the elbows narrow. Exhale, push. Inhale, bend. Exhale, push. It doesn't need to be a big bend. I'm more bothered about scapular stability, so strength in the shoulders. Then if you've got your knees down, we're going to push up to an up stretch. So if you've got the knees down, you might just need to step your feet away for a moment. So now you're in this up stretch position. We're going to take the weight into the left hand, bring the right hand to the middle of the mat. Take the weight into the right hand, left hand comes towards the left foot. Glide the right hand in line with the left one, drop the head, and then we're going to roll up from here. Excuse what my hair is doing. Inhale at the top to hold, and then exhale, we're going to roll down. Straight legs with this one. Now at the bottom, hold it here, reach the left hand to the centre of the mat, right hand to the right front, where it was before, left hand to the left front, and then if you want to bring the knees down, this is when you do it. We're going to go again. So inhale, bend at the elbows, exhale, lift. Inhale, bend, exhale, lift. Inhale, bend, exhale, lift. Back into that up stretch, downward dog. Left hand to the centre this time. Take the weight in the left hand, right hand to in front of the right foot, left hand in front of the left foot. Turn the palms in, roll it up. Lifting nice and tall at the top. I'm just going to sort my hair out. I should have tied it up. No one was doing this. Inhale, we're going to do 2 more sets. Yeah. Exhale, roll it down. This time the the right hand, ignore me. Then the left hand to the left front, right hand to the right front. Check that you're stable. You want that straight line from head to toe. And then we inhale, bend at the elbows, exhale, push. Inhale, bend, exhale, push. Inhale, bend, exhale, push. Back into up stretch. Right hand to the centre, left hand to the left foot, right hand glides, drop the head, and we roll it up. Inhale at the top to pause, and exhale, peel it down. Left hand, right hand, left hand. One day I'll get my lefts and rights mixed up, or not mixed up. Inhale, bend, exhale, push. Inhale, bend, exhale, push. Last one, inhale, bend, exhale, push, hips to the ceiling. Left hand to the centre, right hand to in front of the right foot, left hand glides, drop the crown of the head. We roll it up. That was the last set. We lift, and then we are going to transition back down the same way. So inhale at the top, exhale, roll it down. Bring the right hand to the centre, left hand to the front, right hand to the front. And then we're going to try and come down to our fronts with as much control as possible. So we've got this straight line here. You're going to start to bend at the elbows. Try to stay stable and bring yourself down. And then I'm just going to unclip my mic. And we're going to finish with back extension work. So, from here. No, we're not. We've got some more stuff to do. Yeah, we've got some more stuff to do. I was getting ahead of myself. We'll do one back extension. So, looking down, hands are at the sides of the body, arms are straight, legs are glued together. Press the pubic bone down into the mat here. And the face should just be hovering about an inch off the mat. Really thinking about pressing that pubic bone down. This is what protects the lower back here. Arms and hands are actively lifted away from the mat. Think about reaching the fingertips to the toes. You should be really thinking like working in the arms and back here already. Exhale, prepare. Inhale, you're going to lift upper back. Thinking about reaching the crown of the head up in front of you. And then breastbone is reaching forward. The head doesn't lift more. The neck just comes up in line with the spine. And then exhale to lower. And inhale to lift. And your gaze, as you come to the top of this, the gaze should just be at the top of the mat. So you're still looking down. Exhale to lower. And inhale to lift. And exhale, lower. 2 more. Not letting the arms come down at all. Inhale, lift. Keep reaching those fingertips far behind you. Keep pressing the pubic bone down. Exhale, lower. Last one, it feels so hard, this one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. All the way down. And just switch yourself around so you're on your back. Just have a quick break from back extension before we do the final thing. So arms are pressing down by the sides of the body, just giving ourselves a bit of a stretch through the front with this next one. We're going to do shoulder bridge prep. So it's like the pelvic curl from the beginning, but with a bit of extra added stability challenge. So feet and knees are hip width, arms are planted down, really nice neutral through the spine, through the pelvis. Take an inhale, prepare. And then exhale, draw your abdominals down. Use the lower abdominals to lift the pubic bone up towards you. And then press into the feet, roll up through the spine. Come into that straight line from knee to shoulder. Inhale here to hold. Bring the right leg to tabletop. Left leg takes the weight. Nothing else changes. And then we're going to inhale to tap the right toe down, keep that right angle in the knee, exhale, lift. Inhale, tap, exhale, lift. And 3, and lift. And we're really using that left glute, that left hamstring to stay stable. Last one on this side. Right foot comes down, stabilize through the center, left leg lifts. Left toes pointed, right leg's taking the weight, really using that right glute. We don't want anything to drop between the 2 hips. Inhale, tap the left toe down, exhale, lift. And 2, and lift. And 3, and lift. And 4, lift. 5, and lift. Bring the left foot down, stabilize through the center, and then roll it back down. Keep the arms where they are. Now bring one leg at a time up to tabletop. Glue them together. We're going to do corkscrew. So draw the abdominals down here. Lift the legs up so that they are straight to the ceiling. Toes are pointed. Again, if you're struggling with flexibility here, have a soft bend in the knees, but try to keep the feet over the pelvis. This is like a bigger version of spine twist supine. Keep the legs together. Keep the knees pointed towards you. You're going to inhale, rotate the legs over to the right, left side of the pelvis lifts. Exhale, circle the legs down, around, over to the left. Oh, I've gone too big there, and back to the center. Don't do what I just did and lift the right shoulder. Inhale, over to the left. Exhale, circle down, around, over to the right, and back. So what we want to do with this is we want to stay as stable as we can through the center. So what I did with that first rep is I went too big and it threw me off. And center, one more each way. Inhale to the right, exhale down, around, over to the left, and back to the center. Last one. Inhale over to the left, exhale down, around, over to the right, and back. Bring the knees in for a moment. Rock side to side. Cross the legs. This is a quite clunky transition. Roll yourself up and then flip forward. And we'll just do cat stretch before the final back extension series. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. We're in that 4-point kneeling position again, but it's not going to be the push-up. So from here, think flat back, head in line with the spine. Going to prepare with an inhale. Exhale, you're going to use your lower abdominals to round the lower spine, thinking pubic bone to nose. The head just follows the curve of the spine here. So you're dropping the head slightly, but it's thinking more lower back rounding. Trying to keep the pelvis over the knees. And then same breath, we're going to come through in neutral. That's that flat back. And then inhale, soften slightly through the shoulders so that you can find some upper back extension. Keep the abdominals drawing up, breastbone forward. Same breath, back to neutral. So we exhale to round, lower back, lower abdominals, and through neutral. And inhale, upper back extension, gazing straight ahead, and through neutral. One more each way, rounding the lower back, and through neutral, and upper back extension, breastbone forward, and through neutral. And then from here, just gently bring yourself down to your front for the final thing we do in this session, which is swan dive prep, with the option to do swan dive prep if you like. I'll explain in a moment. So you're lying long, legs are glued together, toes are pointed, hands are going to be just in front of your shoulders, elbows planted into the mat, and you want your forearms to be parallel to the sides of the mat here. And again, we're looking down, so you've got about an inch underneath your face, you're looking down to the mat, and then you're going to press your pubic bone down into the mat. It's really important for that lower back, especially with these, because these are going to go into bigger back extensions now. So prepare, exhale. Inhale, you're going to keep your arms planted into the mat, the forearms planted into the mat, as you start to lift just the upper back. Only moving the head in line with the spine, only lifting as far as you can where the elbows are still down. And then, when you're there, you then start to straighten the arms, only as far as feels okay for you, where the shoulders are away from the ears. And then exhale, lower it back down with control, bring the forearms down, and then back to the start position. And again, inhale, lift, upper back extension initially while the forearms are down, and then straighten, only to your range. You might only get here. You might only just stay with the elbows down, that's fine. And then exhale, lower it back down, one more like this. Inhale, lift, and up. And then you've got the choice now. We're going to do 2 reps of the swan dive prep. You can either carry on with what we were just doing, or you can come with me. Swan dive prep, think about turning all of the back of the legs on. Point the toes, legs are active. Keep the shape in the spine. You're going to exhale to lower the chest. The legs come up. The head's not going to come all the way down. Inhale, press into the forearms, lift the chest. The legs go down. One more. Exhale, lower the chest. Legs up. Inhale, chest lifts, legs down. Hold it, and then exhale, release. All the way down, all the way down, all the way down. And rest. Press back into a rest position, so just sit on your feet. Reach the fingertips long. Drop the crown of the head in between the arms. And just have a couple of breaths in this position. Really just feel the back ribs expanding as you inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, walk the hands towards the body. Peel yourself up to seated. Shake it out. And we are done. We've actually gone over an hour. So that was full body session. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in trying any more of my classes, I do have an online platform with the details that are underneath this video. So have a look at that if you want to try some more, or I've got a few more on my channel. But yeah, thank you, and hope to have you in a class soon. Bye.